Hey everyone, Reaper here again with another comic book haul. It's comic book haul number 40. This is a strict X-Men haul, which means nothing but X-Men books. In particular, X-Men Silver Age books. I mentioned a while ago that I work on specific runs, right? I'm working on my X-Men run, working on my Spider-Man run. Well, what does a run mean? It means something different to everybody. A run is some people use that in a traditional sense, like, well, the entire the Spider-Man Volume 1 run, which is what, numbers 1 through whatever. But for some of us, we have specific runs. Maybe we'll collect a run done by a certain artist or a writer, or a particular story, whatever it is. For me, it started out as when it comes to X-Men run, I wanted to get at least X-Men numbers 1 through 20. Amazing Spider-Man 1 through 20. And that still holds up true. But for X-Men, I just couldn't help myself. It expanded to the entire Silver Age. So that's what I've been working on. And I really was able this is not over the last couple of months. It's longer than that. Throughout the whole year, I've been collecting a lot of X-Men books. I've been upgrading a lot of X-Men books. There's some upgrades here. And you'll see some upgrades in future comic book hauls. I have I have two more comic book hauls coming. I'm probably not going to see them this year. You'll probably see them next year, which have other upgrades. But regardless of all that, long story short, too late, it became, since I love the X-Men so much, it became trying to get every Silver Age X-Men book. And I've been doing quite well. So here is my X-Men haul of some of the books that I was able to add to my collection. Starting off with number 56. Now, this was a book I had purchased, not this particular copy. This was a book I had since the beginning of my comic book hauls. I think my original copy, as you now know, it's an upgrade. My original copy I showed off in comic book haul number 2, I think. I don't remember. But the problem with that book was the centerfold had a slight, it was slightly detached. It wasn't completely detached, it was slightly detached. And I said to myself, I wanted to get an upgrade where the centerfold is firmly attached. And I did. It's probably a nice, what did I give this? It's probably a nice 5.5, 6.0 copy, 6.0 copy. It's really nice. Speaking of grading, as I'll talk as I show more books, here we go. Another really nice book. Never owned this one. Like I said, I had that other one. I upgraded it, but I've never owned number 48. A lot of the books in the 40s, when it came to the Silver Age X-Men run, I never owned. So you see a lot. You can see quite a few of them here. But anyway, when it comes to grading, and when it comes to my X-Men run, I do not want any books below a 4.0. Now, I've mentioned that in a previous video. Now, my X-Men number 1 is a 3.0. I intend to upgrade that next year to a 4.0. So I have certain grading standards when it comes to certain books, in particular my X-Men run. On average, most of my books in the X-Men run, Silver Age, is probably like a 6.0 to a 6.5. I have quite a few 7s. I have more 5.5s, but I definitely have a majority of them in the 6.0 range. So here we have number 46. Another Juggernaut cover. I love Juggernaut covers. Beautiful blue background. I think sometimes the Juggernaut, I don't want to say he's underrated, but I think it's his appearances after his first appearance in the Silver Age are a little underrated. I mean, we all know his first appearance in issue 12 and its continuation in 13. But after that, he made a few more appearances in the Silver Age, and I think those appearances sometimes are lost in the shuffle, forgotten about. Here's number 45. Very happy to add this one to my collection. I like Cyclops a lot, and I've known about this book for quite some time, the cover at least. Sometimes these numbers, when it comes to certain X-Men books in the Silver Age, some of which I do not have, I don't even know what the cover looks like. You know, I don't remember what number goes to whatever cover. And but that one over there, I've always known about that cover, that issue, and I've always liked Cyclops, and it was nice to finally add that one to my collection. My local comic book shop. Here's number, what is this? 44. A solid 5.0 copy of 44. Really nice. My local comic book shop guy, I got a lot of these from him because he just got a collection of X-Men books, and he allowed me to raid them before anybody else could, and they're just really nice shape. Really nice shape. I just couldn't pass them up, and he gave me a good deal for them too, since he knows me and all that stuff. Here we have X-Men number 43. I still have some of the sticker on. I mean, if my local comic book shop guy, if you're watching, yeah, these stickers are a pain in the butt to get off. But anyway, here's a very nice 6.0, 6.5 copy of X-Men 43. Beautiful, beautiful cover. I mean, Magneto looks a little weird here, you know, the way the clothes are fitting on him. But I think it's a pretty famous cover from the Silver Age Magneto covers. But very happy to add that one to my collection. Here's another one. I love the colors on this. Really love the covers, and it's another one from that shop, my local comic book shop. X-Men 41. Great colors, right? It's really nice, especially where the white really just shines through. I'm not quite sure. They got some reds here, and I guess this is burgundy. I don't know. I have trouble with red since I'm colorblind. I mean, I could see, normal red. A lot of people ask me, how do you see stoplights? Well, I can see them just fine. Sometimes I got to count them, but I could pretty much more or less tell what's red and what's green most of the time. But when it comes to other things, like certain subtle reds, I have sometimes trouble telling them apart from other colors. Here we have X-Men number 38. I saw, again, from the same shop, my local comic book shop, I saw this book. And it's nothing to brag about. It's a nice grade. It's a 6.0, but the cover is nothing. Let me show you. Number 38. Nothing to brag about. Nice cover. But when I saw it and I flipped through it as I'm checking the book, I try to count the pages all the time because you never know. I just fell in love with this book, and I was like, oh man. I bought these books in sets. I didn't buy them all at once. And that was one of them that I wanted to get in my first set because I just fell in love with I don't know, it was just something, the artwork, just the way it looked. Maybe it was the white pages inside. It has white pages. It was just a fantastic book. A lot of these X-Men Silver Age books, I think a lot of them, again, are a little underrated, some of the storylines that they told, because a lot of them have not really been referenced, or at least when I remember reading X-Men in the 90s and all that stuff. A lot of them have not been referenced since. Stuff like, I don't know how much Factor 3 has been referenced in recent times. Not that I'm saying it should, but I think those things are sometimes forgotten over the years that came from the early X-Men books that were pretty good story-wise. They were pretty solid. I've said in the past, here's X-Men 37, speaking of Factor 3, right? The first appearance of the Mutant Master. Another nice, this is a 7.0 copy, or 6.5 7.0 copy, really nice. Here's a gorgeous copy, a 7.0 copy of X-Men number 35, first appearance of the Changeling. This one tends to fetch a little bit more than some of the others because Spider-Man's in it and all that, but definitely a great copy, a book that I've wanted for a while, for years. Again, one of those things I just never got around to, but I finally did. Now we got 2 Juggernaut covers coming up. I love these covers. And again, like I said earlier in this video, we know about the first appearance of the Juggernaut and its continuation into 13. But I think sometimes, for most, I'm not saying all of us, we forget about his other Silver Age appearances in X-Men. And the Juggernaut, he was, I like the stories that involved him. And he was on some of the best covers for the X-Men Silver Age, I think. And here's one of them. Number 33. Look at that one. Beautiful cover. Really beautiful. The hands are a little weird to me. I'm not a big fan of the way the hands were drawn. They just seem a little too wrinkly. But the rest of the cover is great, I think. The Juggernaut almost looks like you can tell he's angry, but there's almost like a somberness to him, too. Or maybe that's just me. Great book. This is another really nice book. Like I said, this is the other Juggernaut cover. This is probably like a 6.0. would be higher, but it has just a slight little stain right there. Doesn't go to the wrap or anything like that. It was with issue 32. It was the second time the X-Men were actually dealing with the Juggernaut. I mean, there was a two-parter, 12 and 13, where they were fighting him. It was the same continuation storyline, but they didn't encounter the Juggernaut again until number 32. And that's when they changed up his outfit a little bit. They made it look a little more the way it looks, I think, today. Now we're going to jump all the way to number 21. Okay? Okay, it's an okay copy. It's like a 5.6.0 copy. And that was a bonus that came with this copy right here. X-Men 18. Nice cover. You know, I like it. Another great Magneto cover. Or anything like that. Very happy again. X-Men 11. I still have my 3.0 copy, and I'm probably always going to hold on to that one because that was one of the earlier X-Men books I purchased when I first joined the hobby in '93. And it was, again, another book I always wanted to upgrading, and eventually I got to it with this one right here. This is probably a 5.5 copy. Really happy with it. All right, we got 3 more for this video. Here's another nice book I got. X-Men number 7. I managed to get this from some guy I met in a parking lot. We all know who that is. I got this from Mike. Yeah, we met up. He came down to Jersey, and I bought this from him. We met up, and there you go. Rest is history, as they say. But this is another nice looking book. I forget. It's like a 6.0, I think. I forget what grade. I mean, I didn't mark it down. You know, I think it's a 6.0. It's beautiful, beautiful copy. Really nice. And again, another book, unlike the 11, another book that I didn't have in my collection. It's first time owning it, so it's pretty cool. And it's the second appearance of the Blob, who made his first appearance in number 3. Now, I'm not sure if I showed this one in another video. Sometimes I forget. If I did, well, you're going to see it again. It's an X-Men video. Last 2, here we have, this also came from my local comic book shop. X-Men number 6. First time the Submariner is in the X-Men title. You know, Submariner was making his rounds in all the early Marvels since he was reintroduced in Fantastic Four number 4. Another nice copy. I think it's a 4.5, personally. It could be a 5, but I think it's a 4.5. Again, I'm happy with that. And the last one, no big deal, no big upgrade, but it's a slight upgrade from the previous copy I had. X-Men number 4. This, I think, is the first appearance of Asteroid M, second appearance of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, which means it's the second appearance of Scarlet Witch, more importantly, right? Quicksilver, Toad, and Mastermind. This is a 4.0 copy. I had a 3.0, and I sold that one off to get this one. Actually, this one right here was a CGC old, well, not really, I don't want to say old label, but the label before the label we have now. But the guy who shipped it to me, he just put it in like this plastic long envelope. There was no sort of protection. It wasn't in a box. I was waiting for it to come. This was several months ago. And I'm looking, why is it taking so long to get this? Because, you know, usually I'm thinking those boxes, they'll take 2 to 3 days, priority mail or first class mail, right? And I'm like looking at it, and he sent it media mail, and I'm like, oh no. Don't tell me this guy just put it in one big manila envelope or one of those bubble wrap things. And that's exactly what he did. And when I picked it up, I heard a cracking sound. I'm like, of course this thing cracked. So I opened it up, and it was cracked all over. And I contacted the guy, and the guy, although he worked with me, he gave me a little bit of a refund for it, and I commend him for that. Of course, I got the same answer. Oh, I've done this before. I never had a problem. Really? Come on. You know, when you're sending out something, do you really think if you write fragile across it, the mail carriers are really going to treat it as fragile? But I'm quite happy with this copy. EGC Slab took all the damage and the cracks to save this book, so I'm okay with that. And I was quite happy I was able to open it up anyway. So there you have it, comic book haul number 40. 40 comic book hauls already, right? I've been on YouTube since 2014. I think the first comic book haul came out in August, and then the second one came out in September. and the third and fourth came out in October, and then November. But then around that time, I started saying, whoa, I gotta slow this thing down. So take care, everybody, and be safe.